Hi, Onize. Good evening.
I
Thank you so much for offering to join me on this. It's a new series I'm starting on my YouTube channel, and the idea is just to showcase to young upcoming accountants what they can become. I don't know if you followed like social media in recent times. Everybody needs to start from Big Four. If you don't start from Big Four, your career is like doomed. And so I wanted to really showcase the different paths that accountants can take in their career journey so that people are not thinking that there's only one linear path, right? So I'm just going to start by reading your bio. I try to shorten it a little bit. So to everyone watching, I have with me Onize Sanni. She's an accounting graduate from Covenant University. She's also an associate chartered accountant with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. She is a finance professional with over 7 years of experience across Nigeria's fintech ecosystem. And she supported multiple startups at various stages of growth. And she currently serves as finance business partner at Moniepoint Group. She's committed to excellence, continuous learning, impact at the intersection of finance and technology. So welcome again, Onize.
It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
So since we have such a short time, I'll just go right into it, into the
Okay.
questions. And please try and be as detailed as possible, as well,
Okay.
as the time allows, my dear. Very important. So, why did you study accounting? What was of all the courses in the world, why
That's
did you
one,
choose accounting?
that's one of the simplest questions for me to answer. I was one of those people that I already knew I was going to do accounting from.
What?
I always say I don't know where it came from. It's not like I had a family member. If I thought maybe family influence, I only remember I know I liked seeing my auntie go to the office. She used to work at the bank, so she go with her suit, she look all nice. But that was like banking, not accounting. I used to call it accountancy. I don't know where I heard that. So I just knew I was going to study accountancy and I just stuck to it. Even in secondary school, they put me in science class. I cried and I ran to the guidance counselor, or I think that's what they used to call them, what they call them, and I changed to commercial class. So I was
Wow.
always very certain from the beginning that I was going to do accounting and I never wavered. I mean, maybe more context later, but in hindsight, if I could go back in time, I'll actually tell myself not to study accounting. I'll tell myself to do other things and do I can and
Okay.
do all the professional exams because I always say that that's one of the disadvantages of accounting. Somebody can study engineering, medicine, any random course, and decide they want to come into your profession and just write I can CFA or ACCA or one of the multiple exams, and you guys are hustling for the same role. But let me not, let me not move towards that side too much. But yeah, like it's a simple answer. It was just something I knew I wanted to do from my childhood, and I stuck to it, and I'm still
I
here.
think all of us, most of the people that I know that studied accounting have very similar stories. Me too, just like you. I always wanted to be an accountant. And I think mine came from hearing accountant general of the federation. I said, "Ah, that profession sounds like very serious." And that was my why. And I also remember like, after GSC, they put me like in science class and I told the counselor, no, I want to be in commercial class. And they were like, well, you scored A in integrated science. You scored A in agricultural science. You should be in science class. And just like you, if I were to go back in time, I think may have studied economics or something. I would not have studied accounting because there are many paths into accounting that doesn't require you studying accounting. But anyway, we are here. Thank you for your response. So what was your first role and what did that role look like when you started out as a professional accountant? What was your first ever job and what did it look like?
So my first, I mean, straight, yeah, obviously we had the internship while we're in school. For us, there was a compulsory 6 weeks internship. But straight out of school, I started out as an intern with a tech company. I mean, at that time, they were mostly building tech solutions for other people, and they also tried to build like their own solutions that they will sell into the market. So it was just straight out of school. In fact, I always say I resumed my first job exactly 1 month after my convocation. I resumed August
Wow.
2018. So it was straight after, it was just it was an internship. So I was supporting everybody in the team. I was basically doing what I would say any work. So everything that anybody needed support on, I was doing everything and anything. So helping them, do the account, helping them. I was doing payments. At some point, I kind of focused a bit on treasury. So everything that had to do with like all our bank accounts and
Mm.
investments. They were on me. So I was the one doing all the I was the one monitoring the accounts. I was the one doing what the instructions. Yes, I remember I used to jokingly say that at that young age, I literally had access. I would do all the instructions, send it to the C-level executives to sign. I'll send it to the bank. So I was just like the kind of money I was playing around with at that young age. It shocks me sometimes. So yeah, so it was a bit of everything. I got introduced to everything. So I was doing like it also helped because it was a pretty small team. I mean, we grew, but I don't think at our maximum, I don't think we're more than five, if I remember.
Mm.
Sorry, not five, we're more than 10 at least before I left. Because the company also was growing. The company went through a very, huge growth phase just as I entered. So this kind of thing where the company grows from like 50 to like 200 people in a
Yeah.
year. So that was the time where I joined. So our team also grew a lot. So I mean, it was a very good intro for me because, like I said, I did everything. I was doing like the actual postings on the accounting software. I helped with audits. I was liaising with banks. I was helping, because like I said, we're building solutions for other people. So when the
Yeah.
clients on this team, they are going out to bid for their contract and try and get more projects, any support they need finance wise,
You were
everything
the
was,
one.
like I said, it was almost any work. And I mean, it was a good foundation, looking back at it.
Wow. Because I can imagine, like, when I started my career at KPMG and I didn't have the opportunity to like do a deep dive, like get my hands dirty until 7 years after I left KPMG. Like that was my industry job, So coming right out of school, because a lot of people think like you can't come out of school and just start doing like getting your hands dirty, but I'm really excited to hear that. So walk us through the rest of your career journey, like the transitions when you started out as an intern for this tech company and then what happened?
Yeah. Okay. So, funny enough, I also, as much as when I was in school, I know when people used to recruit, even when they was like the internship, everybody was recruiting for like the big four. I wasn't so excited about it. I can't remember why, but I mean, I even tried, but because everybody was doing it, I did it, but I didn't get it. So, I mean, even after school, I did. So, like I said, I joined just after I left school. So I ended up doing my NYC with them, and they retained me after, but that was thinking about it, that's like as I when they retained me, I'd already spent like 1 year. Okay, I already spent like 1 year, 6 months thereabouts, if my calculations are right. And I felt like okay, I had gotten a lot of experience here, and maybe it was time for me to go out. So I actually set my sights on the big four, and I was going to go through their normal recruitment because they will always have like a recruiting at the beginning of the year, and that was 2020. So you kind of already know where this is going to. So
COVID.
coincidentally, I mean, because I already started telling friends and everyone that, oh, I'm looking for other opportunities. This is what I want to do. I think at some point I even thought about trying out consulting, but then I
Mm.
set my mind on, the big four. And a friend reached out, somebody had reached out that he had a role, but he wasn't interested and wanted me to try it out. I tried it out. I wasn't even experienced. They were looking for somebody that had like 3, 4 years of experience. And here I am with my
Mm.
year NYSC, internship. But I mean, the CEO liked me. It was a very small startup. So I got the offer. And like I said, this was 2020. So I remember I took the offer with the, okay, let me go there and see what is like, what's the worst that can happen. I will not like
Mm.
it. I would leave. The plan was to still do the recruitment with the big four. I think I was going to do Deloitte, and I think PwC already removed me because they had a 1 year post NYC experience requirement that I did not have. So I think Deloitte was my major focus, and I was so confident I was going to get it because as far as I was concerned, I had everything they wanted: degree in accounting, I was already chartered. I had a bit of experience that I felt like was tangible, although it was an internship, but it was very tangible. So I was so confident, but COVID happened. They did not do their normal recruitment again. I think
Mm.
from March, when March, April was when they were going to, I think they even already sent us assessments, emails for the assessment, but then they canceled it, because of COVID. So to show you how every disrupted everything, and they did not bring it back up until like maybe December or
Oh,
2021.
wow.
And by that time, I had joined the company. I was settled in. I just kind of realized that, okay, I mean, second time, this is my second time. It was also another tech company, but this time more
Mm,
focused. It was a digital bank. And I was just, at that time, I was even like, because it was very early stage, I was like employee number 7 or so. So I was
wow.
ready. I was even telling myself, okay, I'm going to just stay here 3 years, 4 years, see how far I can go, grow with the company. And no, but I didn't end up staying that long. I mean, I stayed for just almost 2 years. Then I got, I mean, another, they always reach out to me and with the tempting offers, and I consider them. So I got another offer from another fintech, this time in more in the open banking and payment space. So I took that, was Mono, then from Mono to stayed almost 2 years. I mean, at that time, yeah, it was, I think the highest I'd spent was 1 year, 10 months for at least it was like this 1 year, 10 months, 1 year, 10 months timeline. Then finally before where I am now, Moniepoint. So Moniepoint also reached out. I considered the offer, and if it was nice at that time. So I mean I took it, and that's where I am today.
Awesome. I like that you've been very open-minded with your career. Because I was on an X live yesterday, and it was one of the questions that they asked me about young people moving, and I was like, if I had the opportunity, I would have, if I, what I know now, I would consider moving, because I have only worked in 3 companies in my 17 years of work experience, right?
Like
I
you.
haven't moved a lot, and I see people have on their CV, they have moved multiple times. I think is really commendable. So your current job now, I mean, you've talked about the fact that they always reached out to you. I guess because you had fintech experience, you understand how it is to work in a system that is just a startup kind of system. Because that's something that a lot of people who work in structured organizations really struggle with. So, what does your job today, what does it involve? Like, if you can walk us through like a typical day at work, what does that look like?
Okay, so like you already said, I'm a finance business partner at Moniepoint, and the way I like to describe it is that the company is really big. So it's big such that unlike your typical companies will have like the finance and accounting department, and we have that there. But because of the size of the companies and the size of the company and how big each what we call departments, or for us what we call business units. I always say that our business units are so large that you can bring them out and they will operate as a single company, still making a lot of money, making profits and all of that. So they need like an assigned finance person to
Mhm.
for each business unit. So it's not just even team, because each business unit now has like different teams under. So they need, so I'm assigned to
To a business unit.
yeah, so I support those businesses. So I'm like cross-functional. So I'm a finance person, like I belong to the finance team, but I'm assigned to those two teams. And what we do is product accounting. We can say product accounting, product finance, because I mean we're a tech company. Most our work is building products that people would use, but because we're also now a fintech company, there's almost nothing that they are building that doesn't involve movement of money, or
Yeah.
there's a lot of money moving around. So we're there to support them as they build these products, to make sure that whatever they are building is in line with accounting standards. They are configuring it properly, debiting where it's supposed to be debited, crediting the correct account and all of that.
Mm.
So there's that product control accounting side of it. Then there's still the normal finance, where because I'm assigned to this unit, all the accounts that relates to this unit, I'm in charge of them. So it's almost like you can say I already is like I'm the accountant for that unit, I'm the accountant for that business, I'm the CFO for that business, because
Right.
everything that has to do with the finance of that business is on
Up
my
to you.
my head. Yes. Day to day, I'll start from the let me try and take it through like the months, because I mean for us in finance, months end is the goal, is the pinnacle. So I still
Yeah.
have to go from month end, because at the end of the month, I have to make sure all my accounts are in orders, all the postings that need to have gone into all the accounts have gone in, all the accounts are closed properly, do all the month-end postings, then do reports, that this is for the company-wide management reports, because I mean we have to do reporting. We're a regulated organization, we have to report to all the different bodies that are responsible for us. So there's that part. So even now at this business level, so doing reports for like my team, because like I said, well, we use business units that are literally companies in themselves. So everybody's concerned about their revenue, their costs, make sure you're
Yes.
making money, make sure everything is working fine. So there's also that level. But that's usually like the first 2, 3, 4 days of the month. You're just neck deep in making sure that everything goes well so they can close the books. And then the rest of the month is, there are always things happening. So like now, every account you have, every let me say every liability account, you have to substantiate it. So if I'm saying, okay, I have this liability, I need to be able to explain and show what makes up this
Makes the
liability. Who are we owing? Why is this money here? So all the evidence. So that's what I call like GL substantiation. Then there's always something happening at every point in time. They're always building products. So remember I said we're there to support them with everything they're building. So as they're building, they're okay. I'm always having to think, okay, why this is the account you need, this is how it's going to be configured, all of that. Then there's what I'll call the firefighting side of it, which is that making sure that nothing breaks, and if anything
yeah.
breaks, catch it in time to make sure it's corrected. So there's also that part of it, and it's again is a support role. So like anything they want to do, they always need the input of finance in it. So it's is a long journey from where I started, where I was. I mean, it's different from your typical, accounts receivable. You
Mm.
have that there are people that do that, there are people that are in charge of the general management account of the company, reporting and all of that. I am just focused on my business unit and everything that happens within my business unit. I always say I don't know anything that happens outside of my business unit. Anything outside, I don't have any oversight. Some people are now people always expect, oh, you're the finance person. They're always, salary, salary. I'm just like, I don't even know. The same way they see your salary in your account is the same way I see my own, and I don't know how it got there. I don't know the calculations they did. Like, I mean, obviously I have the industry knowledge because I've done all
Yes.
in the past, but for now, I don't have any interaction with it, any payments, any, all of that, except it obviously specifically applies to my units. Yeah.
Thank you so much. The next question was going to be, what are some of the misconceptions about like your role? And I think all of us, in fact, someone still said it this afternoon that, Aramide, my salary. And I'm like, don't pay your salary. Like,
Do you have any business with your
I
salary?
have no idea like what's happening to your salary. There's a different thing. But like
Yeah.
if we now zoom it to working in fintech as a finance person, what are some of the common misconceptions that people have? Like when people imagine what you do in fintech, what are some of the things that readily comes to mind also that they readily associate you with?
I feel like at the level where I am now, when people think of finance people, they think of a lot of like maybe the bookkeeping side of things. So they're just okay. So the bookkeeping, the payments, a lot of people, the only interaction they have with finance team is salary, or you have a
Mm.
refund, or you need to make a payment, and it's like, okay, these are the people that are holding your payments, and by telling you, somebody needs to approve, this person needs to do this. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to people's mind. So except I now go down explaining what
Yeah.
the whole story I just told you before now. So I think that's the biggest misconception, that just that, oh, what I'm doing is I would say what I'm doing is a new field that is coming out, because I think it was even last year that I actually started to see. I saw a couple of roles like that was actually product accounting, product control, and I'm just
I've
like,
never
And
seen that
when
before.
I saw the JD, I'm just like, this is what I do. I mean, it just has a different name, and maybe in another world, before entering this role, I'll never have seen that role and be interested in it, because I was just thinking
Yes.
maybe was a product manager type role. It wasn't some
Mm.
or a finance person like me. But looking at it, I'm just like, this is what I'm calling. I mean, I'm qualified for this. I can apply for this role and actually get it. I mean, if I want. So I know that is the biggest misconception. Then I think another one I would say is maybe this, and I'm sure we'll probably touch on it later on, but kind of like the skills required, because I'm finding myself having to be more technical than I would have than I would normally have been. I
Well,
mean,
when you say technical, what do you mean by that?
so I mean, for any company you work in, any business you work in, you have to, especially when you're working with a tech company, even if not a tech company, you have to understand the product, even if it's manufacturing.
Yes.
As a finance person, you need to understand what is happening there to make sure that your finances, you're capturing everything correctly. So
Yes.
yes, in the past, I would understand what the product is all about. I would know, okay, this is how everything works. This is how, especially as regards money movements, because that's what
Mm,
concerns me. Anywhere money is moving around, I'm interested and I want to know what's happening there because it affects me. But now I'm having to have like more technical product knowledge that I would normally have because I mean, I remember I said something about how, making sure things don't break, and when things break,
yes.
to
Can
detect it
quickly
and
fix
solve it.
them.
Yes. So I'm supporting people that are building products. I need to have a better, more technical understanding of these things. So I mean, I was forced, I would say, yeah, I would say forced because I did have it on my board for a long time, but I was forced to start learning SQL because there's almost nothing I'm doing
Mm,
today that I don't need SQL. I need SQL to get data for almost everything that I'm doing. So I had to start learning it. If I last
wow.
said they actually forced all of us to take courses on it. Most of us came in not having any SQL knowledge. I mean, in the past, I'll probably just say, okay, I need this. I'll reach out to the engineer or the product managers and they'll get me the data I need. And I did not bother myself about it. But
Yeah.
now, for me to be more efficient, I found out that, oh, I actually need to learn this thing by myself. So yeah, I'll say it's getting, maybe another misconception is how much you need to move a bit out of accounting to
Mm.
be more technical than you would in your typical finance role. And I guess it's also a good thing. Yes, I'm expanding myself.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of roles asking for Python and
Yeah.
SQL experience, and I was just like, when did that one start? So I think you've given us a very good perspective on why th those skills are now being required. So I mean, outside of accounting, the typical knowledge of accounting, debits, credit, blah blah blah, IFRS. What other skills matter here? I know you've talked about SQL, understanding SQL, but are there other skills that you think for someone who is looking to take on this kind of job, what kind of skills do they need to build aside their typical accounting skills?
Okay, I mean, first thing that comes to mind, maybe before I go back to talk more on like the tech skills, is I'll say FP&A, financial planning and analysis, and that's because I think, like I said, I'm almost like the CFO of the unit, so it's like you need to understand the business, you need to really understand the numbers and
Mm,
be able to tell a story of the numbers and know what moves what. So I think I mean, moving from your core accounting that is just reporting, accounts receivable and all of that. So there's a lot of you need to also I mean, yes, there's a separate FP&A team, but I still need to have that knowledge for me to contribute meaningfully and in my role. Then going back, I think I will not. You already said it. I already said SQL. You said Python, but just more in-depth data analysis skills because you are. I always say, I mean, until I started this job, you know how Excel has 1 million, I think 1,048,000 lines. I don't have to deal with I'm sure I didn't have to deal with anything that led to at least half of that. But now I'm dealing with data of that magnitude. So whether I like
mm,
it or not, I'm, stretching my Excel skills to the very limit, stretching, how much I know, learning as much as I can. So as far as you can possibly get in like data analysis, Python, like you said, SQL, as far as some people they get these things easier, so they're able to, go far. I'm going to be very priceless. It's going to help you even be more efficient. There are some things I'm just like, I would not be waiting for this person to do it for me. If I knew this, if I could
yeah.
write this query by myself, if I could do this. I mean, I try my best, use everything that all that at my disposal, but I feel like I cannot overemphasize the need for, going above and beyond to get more advanced data analysis skills even beyond also even like the Excel. We know how Excel is very extensive. So I don't think we all know that we can never stop learning Excel because they even bring up new updates every other year. So
Hmm.
what's that? So and I mean, then I also say being I don't just general industry know-how. So you need to read and, kind of be on top of what's happening, because that's how that's how you're also able to contribute meaningfully. You're
Yeah.
not just here to crunch numbers and go home. You're also able to advise the business. So, I mean, depending on the industry, it's not even just finance. It's not, I mean, not
Yes.
fintech, whatever industry you are, just being on top of whatever is what's happening there, and being in the know. Yes, to just help you. You have a better picture of how to manage your business properly.
Awesome. So, so far you've been working for 7 years. What are some of the mistakes or tough lessons that you learned in your journey so far,
Oh,
especially
mistake.
working in fintech?
Mistakes. I mean, I feel personally, I use like this SQL. Like I said, it had been on my. I will always say at the beginning of the year, what do you want to do? I want to be more advanced in like my Excel, and maybe proceed into other parts like Python and SQL. So, I mean, this if I could go back, maybe the early years where I still had a bit of free time, I would have forced myself to, pay for a course, go for like a proper course that would have forced me to see that course. Yeah, you do a Udemy course, but you cannot compare that to like actually going to school.
In a classroom.
Learning, and I'm sure those courses would have done that. I mean, I can still do that now, so it's not like it's exactly such a something I cannot change. So I know, but it would have been easier. It would have made maybe the early days of my job
Mm,
much easier, because I wouldn't have had to be learning all these things. I already have this knowledge. Then I'll say personally also getting more advanced product knowledge. So even if it's maybe taking like a basic product management course to just
mm,
help understand, okay, these people I'm working with, you guys are building on these products. How are you even building it? I mean, I understand all the terms when they're having their conversations, I know, but and maybe it's the kind of person I am, because I really like to figure things out. I like to understand things to the nitty-gritty. So I feel like there's still that depth that I can get to. And I mean, from my point of view, I know if I had done these things earlier on, it would have helped me, especially at the point where I knew, oh, I want to be in this industry. I don't want to I mean, I like at the second company, I said it
yeah.
that I'm here. I might as well just stay here and see where it leads me to. So it wasn't like intentional from the beginning. So I know those are the two. Then I would say maybe I would have been like, now when I was at the this company I worked with, which and Prospa, and the third one, which was Money, which were much smaller teams. I feel like I should have actually put myself out to do more outside finance, for the experience, for the knowledge, and to just expand myself more. I feel like, I mean, this because they were smaller companies, I would have had that opportunity. I don't think I can really do that now, because everything is so rigid. I'm not every yeah, we're already overwhelmed with a lot. So even say you want to
Yes.
start doing another person's work, that kind of thing. So I feel like that's one. I should have taken more advantage of that. Even if maybe even as simple as, even if it was a marketing team, going to meet them and say, you guys, I mean, what can I do? How can I
Mm,
contribute, even not for formally, informally, like just expand myself more and give myself more experience? Because I would say I like now I'm at a point where I feel like I I like to say my days in core accounting have come to an end, because I'm not doing core accounting anymore. I'm kind of like in the middle. So I know I'm moving away from it more, but I would sometimes feel like, oh, I'm not really sure what I want to do. So I feel like if I had
mm,
done a little of this experimenting earlier on, it will help me to have more clarity that, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to go and try out, do I want to do cooperations? Do I want to do product, be a manager? Do I want to be a project manager? Do I even want to go to, marketing? Or if I had maybe done some of this, maybe what I mini internships within the company, I would have expanded myself more and know, okay, I don't think I'll ever be interested in this, or I've done a bit of this and I feel like I'm interested in it, and I want to explore it more. So yeah, I think those are the areas I feel like I would have been better off.
awesome. So as we start to wrap up, AI, everybody thinks AI is coming after their jobs. You know, how
Yeah.
has AI, or should I say, how do you use AI in your job, or how has AI impacted your role? The work that you do today. What's the impact of AI on your job responsibility?
I think for me, I I used to think through my problems. So I have a problem. I'm able to just paint the picture and now brainstorm the different solutions. So, I mean, obviously, finance accounting, you're dealing with a lot of confidential information. You cannot be giving AI your numbers. That one is already there, but you can talk through your problems. I know one thing I do now is that when I need to do like a very complicated Excel formula, you know, I just go and I'm just like, okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve. What's the best formula? Instead of try to do it manually. Like I remember somebody always said that if you're spending too much time doing something on Excel, there's probably a formula for it.
Get
You just
away.
Google it. So I remember that time she will even tell you to just Google it, check YouTube. There's probably somebody that solved the problem similar to that. So I think for me, those are the ways I use a lot when I have, like I know what I want to do and I'm just like I feel the problem and I try to walk through. There's a lot of copy and paste that I can do, to be honest, because everything is context specific.
Yeah.
So I mean in the company itself, we have to some AI tools. Personally, I'm not threatened in any way by AI. I mean, I know that no matter what, I don't think there's anybody that would be let's say smart enough to just hand over your entire finances, even the bookkeeping aspect that we know that in a few years, definitely AI would be doing most of it. But we know definitely that there would always be human oversight in accounting, there will always be human oversight in finance. So I mean, personally, I'm trying my best to stay on top of the trends. I will not even say I'm that there because I'm like now all these things when you talk of things like building AI agents, I'm just like,
Mm.
please wait small. I'm not getting there. Let's at least let my everyday life, my daily could just be easier. I used to try my best to make my work easier. Things I'll probably have to sit down and be writing the query or the formula from the beginning, or I'm just like, okay, how can I do this? How can I do better? Even that down to like reporting. How can I report this better? What's a better way to present this? How should I, put so as simple as that, just exploring. I mean, things I already do, but just using AI to make it better.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Onize. So, what would be your advice for any young person like that wants to go along in the same path as you? What would you tell them? I know you said you sprinkled it every now and then throughout this conversation, but what would be your advice to them? Someone coming out of school wants to work in fintech, wondering where to start. How would you advise them?
Okay, I would say be ready to take risk because it goes both ways. Some people, the path they might have to take is to actually go to like the big fours and get the experience there and now come and work in the fintechs. But some is the other way around where you probably move around in some startups just like me and eventually you just with the start you can stay in one company and grow, or you just move around with companies of different sizes. Some people you're starting at a more experienced company where there's already a more mature company rather, where there's already structure. So a lot of it is taking risks. I would not lie and I'll be very honest that I mean it was easy for me to move around because every movement like a pay bump, pay increase, it was always a better opportunity. There
Yeah.
was I'm not going to be here telling you, oh, take a pay cut. Some people might have to do that. If you assess it, it's very context specific, depending on your situation. Some people you can afford to not earn a salary. I mean, I don't think there's any point where I could do that. So be willing to take risks. For some people is working with early stage startup that you don't know whether the company will be here 1 year down the line or
Mm,
two, but because you know what you want and you probably believe in the product. I mean, I think that's also something else that I don't think you should be working with a company where you probably don't understand or believe in the product. Every company that I've worked in, I saw the product that they were building and I thought like it made sense. If not, if I not believe in it, that how will I even be praying that, oh, please let my company pray to God and let my company succeed? If I know in my heart of hearts, I don't think this is going to succeed. So there's just that part of and believing in what the companies you're working with, the opportunities that come your way. Then I'll say, open yourself up, be curious. I think where you are, there are I won't say exactly core communities for like finance in like fintech and all of that, but even even if it's joining like the core communities of like developers and all, at least as those ones that are getting their engineering jobs, if you're in that community, you're also able to somehow find your way and also get your finance role, if you get what I'm saying. So I will always advise people to I will never say I'm the most extroverted person, but I try my best to put myself out there. I go out, I try to be where I I can be to the best of my ability. If I mean, I hope I'm explaining that properly. So, you know, if there are societies, communities that you can be part of, you know, it's sometimes a meeting once a week or twice a week, and it doesn't require much, but all these relationships, all these things you do, they are literally
Exactly.
what will build up. You know, I'm not a fan of, oh, I'm becoming friends with somebody because of what I can benefit. I genuinely believe, be yourself, be open, be transparent, be willing to help people, be a team player, be a kind person, and just generally be a good person. I feel like all of that always just adds up. You know, it adds up. All these relationships that you build, this person that you just knew, this person, hello, hi, hello, somehow is the person that will end up preferring you for the job that's, you know, the dream job that you want. So yeah, I think
Thank you
that
so much.
yeah,
Thank you
I
so
can.
much, Onize. It's been an amazing conversation. If you guys want to connect with Onize, her LinkedIn, a link to her LinkedIn bio will be in the comments, in the description box. So please reach out to her if you have questions. I'm sure she'll be willing to. Thank you so much, Onize. I really
From
enjoyed this conversation. Enjoy the rest of your evening and talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Okay.